Hey guys, this is my, for the most part, stock 2015 Ford F-250, and we're going to go ahead and swap out the stock radio for an Android head unit. So let's go inside and we'll show you what we're starting out with. Right here is the factory base model, typical plain Jane head unit. But this one's a little bit different, as this one includes the MP3, not just the CD player. This one also has the built-in Sirius satellite radio tuner built in. But still, it's just plain Jane. If you look down here, it has the Microsoft Sync USB port and auxiliary port input with the accompanying stereo wheel controls. So, one thing what prompted me wanted to kind of change some things is that the Bluetooth settings don't work, so I wanted to change everything. But anyways, changing this thing out is stupid ridiculous. So we're gonna go ahead in the garage and we're gonna do an unboxing and we'll show you what we're gonna swap this out with. And here, how's the radio will come when you unpack it out of your box. Nothing special, nothing fancy, just some, I don't know why it says compact disc, because this doesn't have any kind of CD player on it, but whatever. It does have touchscreen. Yes, it's made in China. Nothing on this side, nothing on that side. Some contact information. Just interesting, because this is found on multiple websites. And nothing on this side. And through the magic of, you don't need to see any unboxing, because if you've seen one, you've seen them all. Alright, so this is everything you get in their radio kit. You get, of course, the wiring harness, which includes the connector that goes to the back of the radio. Their CAN bus interface, which decodes the CAN bus for your vehicle. Your couple aux ports for auxiliary, and it's got two of them. Two aux ins, so I don't know if that's directly from the car. I haven't tested these, but they're both male. None of them are female, which I'm not exactly sure, because I do have the sync port on the front, so or the aux port just above the sync logo. So I might have to play with that later. Of course, my phone doesn't have a headphone jack, so it'll probably be a while before I get around to that. But then you have your factory plugs. You know, you have your main connector, the smaller connector, and I think this is meant if you have the factory amp, maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't have that, so I won't be using that. And so then you'll have this other wire right here. Now this is for steering wheel controls. This is for the CAN bus type serial, or CAN bus type steering wheel controls. So if your steering wheel controls on your model use the CAN bus, you'll have to plug this in the back of your unit. Now, some of the complaints that you see people see that it came dead on arrival, it wouldn't even turn on. There are two other connectors on here. So you'll see this small connector right here, all right? You see this orange and red wire. Now there's another one over here on the other side. Let me flip it over and see it's not plugged into anything. All right? So if your unit doesn't power on, there's a chance that you need to swap these plugs, because the way your year model was configured on the CAN bus, you might need to swap these two plugs around so that it will work. So if it doesn't power on, try swapping those and it might power on. So that's one of the adapters it comes with. Here's what else it comes with. It comes with the external mic. It comes with a Phillips screwdriver and a pry tool. I'm not sure what you'd use the Phillips screwdriver for on my model, but we'll get to that later. It comes with additional RCAs, your additional video input, subwoofer out. There's your external mic plug. That looks like the power amp output. We can power antenna if people still use those. And two additional USB ports. I say two additional, we'll get to that. We got the GPS antenna. We have the reverse camera input. On here, it has the Bluetooth antenna and the Wi-Fi antenna, these little teeny tiny things. They're small, but you know, if you're only pairing it to your phone. It doesn't really need to be like super long range anyways. And this is the antenna adapter it comes with. So this goes in the back of the radio, and I think this is meant to be powered. This is supposed to be like a little kind of an amplifier to help boost incoming FM signals or AM signals. And it has these Fracca, I think that's what they're, I can't remember the type of this interface, but it's most common on the back of like satellite radio plugs on the back of factory radios. So I do have one of these, but mine was used for the satellite radio, and so I won't be using this particular antenna adapter. So if you have the other style, you will need a different antenna adapter. So I had to buy this separately. It did not come with this, unfortunately. Now this is cool. PAC made this and discontinued it. This comes from your sync module or your communication command module, depending on what version of the sync you have on your vehicle. This you unplug the USB cable from your sync module or your command module, and because it's a mini B, and this plugs directly into that, and it allows you to use the front USB port on your Ford Sync on the front of the USB port, and allows you to use it, and allows you to plug it directly in the back of the radio. And of course you get the head unit. There it is. And so yes, I did a little bit of testing to make sure everything works. So here's the back of it. Now on my install, I'm not using any of this stuff. I'm not going to use that either. I'm going to use the USB, I'm going to use the backup camera, GPS, that, and the antenna adapter. And that's it. And this thing is crazy, stupid, plug and play. So, so let's go and get some of these things plugged in. We'll show you everything that needs to be plugged in here. Really simple, straightforward. Missing gets put together quick. I mean, I think plugging all this stuff in probably might take the longest. So that goes in there, pretty self-explanatory. Now the cool thing, the width of all these is, well, they're all different widths. So it's kind of hard to plug something into the wrong spot. So this is an 8-pin, and there's only one 8-pin here. So that's going to go here. The clips go at the top. That goes right there. Next, our camera plug. That is a 10-pin, so that's going to go down here in the only 10-pin. Bam, right there. Now our sync USB adapter. This is a narrow 4-pin. That's going to go right there. That's done. Boom. Next, our antenna adapter, so we can hook up to our Ford factory antenna. We're going to plug that in. I said we're going to plug that in. That's done. And the GPS antenna here. That just screws on. I have a 8mm wrench in the truck ready for us. And that's just going to be snug down. It doesn't need to be tight. And now we're just ready to go to the truck. Alright, back out here in the truck, so we're going to start taking this apart. It's really simple. All you're going to need is a pry tool, a 7mm either nut driver, socket. Helpful is to have a socket, and an 8mm wrench for the GPS antenna that we spoke of earlier. First, right here at the top, it's really simple. Just get your little hook in there and it just pops right out. These two little clips, pops out. We'll set that up here. Same on the other side. Just put it in here, pops just right out. Clip in the top, pops out. We're done with the pry tool. I've already pre-loosened these. There's a 7mm bolt here and another one on the other side. Alright, I'm just going to grab underneath here and just kind of both sides, right behind the vent. And it comes out. Now, you have a bunch of other wires back here behind. You can choose to disconnect everything, but if you lay it just right, it'll lay down far enough. But if you have to disconnect everything, there's clips on everything just like before. This is the most unique one. If you see right here, there's a little tab right here in the middle of it, and this lever just pushes all the way over here. I'll show you that so you know how you push down the middle and it slides over. This is what's known as a CAN bus connector, but I don't need to disconnect it because there's enough room to get to the radio. Again, same 7mm, 4 more screws. Alright, and the radio will just pull right out. Now the leads on the back aren't very long, but there's just enough room for you to get just behind it. Pull off the antenna, and there's little push tabs on each of the connectors. Might have to be, so the bigger one is the tightest one, but it'll come. Give it a little wiggle, and that's it for the radio. So, see, there's the factory radio, which is why we needed the adapter, and this is for the satellite radio antenna. Unfortunately, this can't be used for the GPS, so we will no longer need that. Now, I've already previously routed. My truck has the reverse camera pre-installed. There's a display in the rear mirror, and so infotainment makes this adapter that plugs into the back of the mirror that gives me an RCA output, so I can use the reverse camera input on the new head unit. And so the USB adapter that I mentioned earlier, this is what it looks like. The module on the F-250 is in the kick panel on the passenger side door. Just inside here, when you remove here, right there, there's a TPMS. If you look right here, there's a TPMS module right there where my finger, right there. See that label? That is a TPMS module. Right behind that is the sync command control module, or the sync module. This USB adapter plugs into that. And so this goes directly to the USB port on the front that we talked about earlier. Now we can grab our Android head unit and we'll just start plugging everything in. Remember that 8mm wrench we talked about? All we gotta do is just kind of snug this up. Doesn't need to be tight, just need to be snug so it doesn't go anywhere. And all we do is just start matching cables. Big one to the big one. Remember I said earlier we won't be using this one. So that means we use the medium one to the medium one. Our antenna adapter. Here's the factory USB, which is really cool that they include this. PAC sells these if you're using another audio interface. I discontinued it. It plugs in just like that. And now we need our reverse wire, which fell somewhere here. Where'd it go? There. And it looks like a mess. I'm not going to put the GPS antenna anywhere somewhere special, but just kind of shove it in there so it'll fit. Tuck it all in the back there so it's nice. Now remember I told you about those 2 plugs. Make sure the head unit powers up. That way you can determine if you need to swap those 2 around. Before putting everything back together, I'm going to turn it on. The first boot is going to take a few seconds. So give it some time. Head unit's booting up. First boot takes the longest. Alright, so I'm gonna start the radio. There's music. Now, don't get copyright right now. Over here at the steering wheel controls. Alright, I think the Bluetooth was already connecting, so I've tested this previously. But, so, here we are, already hooked up, so I'm gonna turn this down so no copyright strikes. But, if you look, the station, the steering wheel controls are already programmed. Didn't have to do nothing. Because I used the CAN bus, like I showed you before. Volume, already set up. Now, the only button that's not set up is the phone button, the steering wheel button. Because that uses the command control module. The sync button originally is now mute. Or actually, oh, no, it actually uses the stereo's voice command. So, sorry about that. Yeah, everything else works. Don't have to program nothing. Can't get much more plug and play than that. Oh, but when you're reassembling it, one thing, if you're struggling to get everything to snap back together, there's this little tab on the F-250's brake controller. If you look at this metal tab, you kind of see that there's kind of a slot right here, little tabs right here. This tab will slide in there. So if you're not snapping all the way back together, that's why. So just get that lined up, and everything will snap back together. But I'll leave links in the description for the website that I found this on, as well as the Amazon link where you can order this from. So yeah, so let me button this up and I'll show you what it looks like all put back together. Alright, so there it is, all put back together. Yep, steering wheel controls, the whole 9 yards. And here I'll show you the reverse camera that I was talking about. All good to go. Move this out of the way. See? Because that thing is so damn tiny. And so, yeah, infotainment had that adapter. Really awesome. Just a pigtail that plugs into there, and you just reroute the RC cable down the A pillar over there and through the dash and all that fancy stuff. That way you can use an aftermarket radio. Really cool. So yeah. So, and it already comes with maps installed, so if you want to use their maps, you can. And on their website, they do have an updated maps for it and the app. I don't know what version is on here, but yeah, so it does have maps. It takes a second for it to acquire the GPS signal, but yeah. So yeah, it's got GPS, Android Auto. If you connect Wi-Fi, you get your Play Store, all your other apps, all the usual Android head unit stuff. So really cool. I like it. Let me turn that down. Now there's a lot of other Android head units out there that will fit this truck, but I chose this one in particular because it had the physical buttons and the physical volume knob. I felt that was important, because sometimes you don't want to, like, just while you're driving, paying attention in front of you, fumbling around for that capacitive button, or just, well, I got steering wheel control, so I guess that's kind of redundant. But sometimes it's nice just to be able to reach over and quickly turn that down. You know, that's handy. On some Android head units, the home button or the back button up here can be a pain in the butt to get to. On some of them, you actually have to swipe down to get to it. It's nice that there's a back button here. This menu button is actually kind of like a home button, so no matter where you're at, it takes you right back to the home, so that's handy. So, and you can change these themes. This right here can be changed to look however you want, for the most part. There's a bunch of different themes on the head unit already, so all in all, excellent. And I think I paid like 140 bucks for it. Yeah, I don't think there's any way you can beat that, because I mean, think about it. You're gonna buy some fancy head unit, right? You got your fancy head unit, then you're gonna have to buy a dash kit, and then you're gonna have to buy a wiring harness. And if you have a data type head unit, you're gonna need a wiring harness that has a CAN bus decoder on it, like a pack harness, which are not cheap. So you got a $150, $200 head unit, a $30, $40 dash kit, a $75 to $200 wiring interface, and then you gotta get an antenna adapter, because none of them include an antenna adapter. It's all separate. So you're like $300-400 into a head unit. I had to buy an antenna adapter. I went to the Autobar store and I spent like $18 on it. I could have got on Amazon for like $7 had I known that the antenna adapter that came with it was not the correct one. But $140, no dash kit. I mean, everything done. That's it. Even includes the USB adapter, which was like $80 separately from pack, had they not discontinued it. So, and I have a 2015. You'll see on the website this says it's compatible up to 2014. I think if you have this radio, okay, this radio and your connections on the back look a lot like this, or exactly like this, or extremely similar to this, and you don't have Sync 2 or the Sync display with all the all that stuff, I think you're good. I think you're good. I think up to maybe 2016, I think you'll be good. I think you'll be on 2014. So if you have that brick radio, I think you'll be good. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys find this useful, because I only found one other Android head unit similar to this, and it had a CD DVD player, and it's pretty old. It had some different wiring instructions that they had to do a bunch of troubleshooting with the illuminance and the auto lights and all that kind of stuff. So, but I thought this was just crazy that it was like the most plug and play. I mean, you saw how real time it was. I mean, I unscrewed everything, I unplugged my radio, and I plugged this in, and that's it. Didn't have to program the switches. It just works. That's awesome. For a China product, it's great. Now, granted, it might stop working in a year. I don't know. But the fact that I can take it apart, plug it in, and it just works. Don't have to cut my dash apart, don't have to order extra frames and adapters and all this and that. That's awesome. But anyways, thanks for watching. We'll holler at you guys later. See ya.